Top amazing facts about Pele. Number 1. Pele scored a total of 1,283 first-class goals, including 77 for Brazil. 2. He won 3 World Cups, 2 World Club Championships, and 9 Sao Paulo State Championships. 3. Pele was named after American inventor Thomas Edison, his real name being Edson Arantes do Nascimento. 4. Pele was signed by Santos when he was 15. He scored 4 goals on his league debut in a match against FC Corinthians on September 7, 1956. 5. Waldemar de Brito, another great Brazilian forward, is credited with discovering Pele, taking him to Santos, and telling them that he was going to be the greatest football player in the world. Number 6. At 17, Pele became the youngest ever winner of a World Cup. He also scored twice in the final against home side Sweden. 7. Pele was appointed as Minister of Sport in Brazil in 1995, serving until 1998. Number 8. He was voted Athlete of the Century by the International Olympic Committee, IOC, in 1999. Number 9. 1997, Pele was given an honorary British knighthood. Number 10. On November 19, 1969, Pele scored his 1,000th career goal. Hundreds raced onto the pitch to mob the Brazilian star, and it took over 30 minutes for the game to resume. Number 11. At Santos, November 19 is known as Pele Day to celebrate the anniversary of his 1,000th goal. Number 12. Pele is 5th on the all-time World Cup goal scorers list with 12 and the second highest placed Brazilian behind Ronaldo. Number 13. When Pele retired, J.B. Pinheiro, the Brazilian ambassador to the United Nations, said, "Pele played football for 22 years, and in that time he did more to promote world friendship and fraternity than any other ambassador anywhere." 14. In 1967, a 48-hour ceasefire was declared in Nigeria so that federal and rebel troops could watch Pele play on a visit to the war-torn nation. Number 15. Pele said in 2006, "For 20 years, they've asked me the same question. Who is the greatest, Pele or Maradona? I reply that all you have to do is look at the facts. How many goals did he score with his right foot or with his head?" 16. When Pele played for the New York, so many of his opponents wanted to swap shirts with him that the club had to give each of their opponents a shirt after every match. Pele was the main attraction, says Gordon Bradley, one of the club's coaches at the time. Sometimes we had to take 25 or 30 shirts with us to a match. Otherwise, we'd never have to go out of the stadium alive. Number 17. Pele made a cameo appearance in the film Mike Bassett, England Manager, in which he was interviewed by the broadcaster Martin Bashir. He laughs off England's chances of winning the World Cup. 18. Pele on the importance of football stars. When football stars disappear, so do the teams, and that is a very curious phenomenon. It is like the theater, in a play where there is a great star. If the star is not well, the whole cast suffers. 19. Pele has helped raise millions of pounds for charitable causes, including Great Ormond Street and Harlem Street Soccer. 20. Noted English football writer Geoffrey Green once declared, "Di Stefano was manufactured on earth. Pele was made in heaven." 21. On August 1, 2010, Pele was introduced as the honorary president of a revived New York Cosmos. 22. Pele once said, "A penalty is a cowardly way to score." 23. In March 2003, Brazilian model Gisele Bündchen was offered special intensive training in flag waving in advance of the 32nd Brazilian Grand Prix. Why? Organizers wanted her to do a better job than Pele, the previous year's flag waver, who got distracted and failed to notice Michael Schumacher crossing the finish line. 24. How do you spell Pele? The Times of London once declared G-O-D. 25. Pele and Maradona are hardly friends. In 2010, Pele said of the Argentinian, "He's not a good example for the youth. He had the God-given gift of being able to play football, and that is why he's lucky. Maradonas respond, "Who cares what Pele says? He belongs in a museum." 26. England World Cup winning captain Bobby Moore on Pele, "The most complete player I've ever seen." 27. His family gave him the nickname Dico. He did not get the nickname Pele until he started school, where he used to pronounce the name of the local Vasco da Gama goalkeeper Bile as Pele. Hence, a classmate of his gave him the nickname Pele. 28. Pele's father once scored 5 headed goals in one game, a feat that Pele was never able to replicate. The most headers Pele ever scored in a game was 4. 29. Former Manchester City and England star Rodney Marsh once said of Pele, "Comparing Gascoigne to Pele is like comparing Rolf Harris to Rembrandt." 30. Pele's header against Italy in the 1970 World Cup final was their 100th World Cup goal. 31. His first World Cup finals goal came against Wales in the 1958 quarterfinal. Brazil won 1-0. 32. Since April 1994, Pele has been married to psychologist and gospel singer Asiria Limos Cesas. 33. Pele on being a role model. Every kid around the world who plays soccer wants to be Pele. I have a great responsibility to show them not just how to be like a soccer player, but how to be like a man. 34. Pele on success. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing or learning to do. 35. Pele is mentioned in the song Ghetto Superstar by rapper Pras. 36. In 2000, Pele was named second in the BBC's Sportsman of the Century award. Boxing legend Muhammad Ali came first. 37. Tarcisio Burnic, the Italian defender who marked Pele in the 1970 World Cup final, said afterwards, "I told myself before the game, he's made of skin and bones just like everyone else, but I was wrong." 38. In Brazil, he's often called Perola Negra, which means black pearl. 39. The Brazilian government declared Pele an official national treasure in 1961 to prevent him from being transferred out of the country. 40. In 1993, Pele was inducted into the National Soccer Hall of Fame. 41. To persuade Pele to sign for the New York Cosmos in 1975, Clive Toye, the team's general manager, said, "Don't go to Italy. Don't go to Spain. All you can do is win a championship. Come to the US, and you can win a country." 42. Pele's football team was formed with a bunch of friends from his neighborhood, and they called themselves the Shoeless Ones. 43. In Brazil, Coca-Cola sponsors a Pele museum on wheels that travels throughout the country. 44. Cristiano Ronaldo once said, "Pele is the greatest player in football history, and there will be only one Pele." 45. Pele is the only player to have been a part of 3 World Cup winning teams. 46. On November 21, 1964, Pele scored 8 goals as Santos ran riot against Botafogo to register a monumental 11-0 victory. 47. Pele scored 92 hat-tricks and scored 4 goals on 31 occasions, 5 on 6 occasions, and once scored 8 in one match. 48. As a boy, Pele used to play with a sock stuffed with paper as he could not afford to buy a football. 49. Pele on winning. If you're first, you're first. If you're second, you're nothing. 50. Pele has worked as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and as a United Nations Ambassador, working to protect the environment and fight corruption in Brazil. 51. Pele came out of international retirement to play one last game for Brazil on October 6, 1976 against club side Flamengo, who won the match 2-0. His last international game for Brazil, however, was a 2-2 draw with Yugoslavia on July 18, 1971. 52. On October 1, 1977, Pele played his last game as a footballer as Santos played New York Cosmos at the Giants Stadium. He played the first half of the game for the American club and the second half for Santos. 53. Brazil never lost a game when Pele and the legendary Garrincha played together. 54. He played the record for the most number of goals scored for the national team, which is a record that has stood for almost 40 years. 55. Pele scored Brazil's 100th World Cup goal with his head. 56. Pele had a video game named after him back in the 1980s called Pele Soccer. 57. MMA mixed martial arts fighter Jose Landy Jones was nicknamed Pele after him. 58. Dutch artist Dick Breinstein made a drawing of him and called him Pietje Pele. 59. His presence in the USA helped boost average attendance across the league by almost 80% from 1975, 7,597, to 1977, 13,584. 60. Pele scored his first hat-trick for Santos against Lavras on June 9, 1957. 61. Pele made his appearance for New York Cosmos on June 5, 1975, against Dallas Tornadoes. He managed to score on his debut, with the game ending in a 2-2 draw. 62. Pele starred in Escape to Victory, a World War II drama about a team of prisoners of war who play their Nazi captors in a football match. Unsurprisingly, he played the team star attacker, Corporal Luis Fernandez, who hailed from Trinidad and Tobago. 63. In 2005, Pele fronted an advertising campaign for the drug Viagra and was widely credited for breaking the taboo about speaking or receiving treatment for erectile dysfunction. 64. American forward Edson Buddle is named after the great Brazilian. I thought naming him Pele would be too much pressure, his dad revealed. Edson, not many people would know. 65. As he prepared to kick off in a game during Mexico 1970, Pele gestured to the referee that he needed to tie his laces. The cameras panned in to reveal the forward's Puma boots. The company subsequently experienced a huge sales boost. 66. Pele scored 3 or more goals a staggering 129 times during his career. 67. Pele has never liked his nickname, admitting it sounds like baby talk. 68. Pele's 1000th goal was a penalty. Romario, chasing his own 1000th strike in 2007, eventually reached the milestone in the same manner, although his tally is also disputed in some quarters. 69. Germany legend Franz Beckenbauer said of Pele, "He's the most complete player I ever saw." 70. Filming on Citizen Kane, widely viewed as one of the defining films in Western cinema, finished on the day of Pele's birth. In 2001, on Pele's birthday, the world got its first glimpse at one of the defining gadgets of the modern era, the iPod.